Good afternoon, grade 10s. It's me again, Hector Nkosi. I'll be taking you for mathematics. Today, guys, we'll still be looking at functions. Actually, the whole of this week we'll be looking at the functions. Yesterday we touched at November 2016 a little bit, but we did not finish. Today we'll be continuing with that paper and start another one if we still have time. Okay, guys, as usual, welcome to those who have just joined us this week or today. Things that you need to do, if you've got any question, feel free to put your query in the chat box. If you want to ask a question where you want me to hear your voice, you can always raise up your hand. Then if you've got any other maths related questions, you can always email me at nkosihector28@gmail.com. So basically these are functions, okay? And guys, don't forget, if let's say you are new to our class, please feel free to go to YouTube and watch the videos so that you can be familiar with the things that you have covered so far from the past 3 weeks or from the past 6 weeks. So it's up to you on which one you want to do. So guys, functions, we'll be doing functions the rest of this week because why? This is the new chapter in term 2. Majority of you haven't covered functions. So I'm assuming majority of you, they haven't covered those at school. So it's still going to be like, okay, what's happening? But you know what, guys? If you're familiar with your algebra, if you know your solve for x, if you know your factorization, your simplification, you should be fine with this chapter. I love it. It's very exciting, right? Okay, cool. I just want to welcome everyone who have just joined us today. The new people, I can see the new one. We've got LA. We've got Ben Lamini. Welcome. It's my first time seeing you. We've got Bukosi. It's my first time seeing you. Heart Rain. Welcome. It's my first time seeing you. Israel Lata, welcome. Lalilia, welcome also. MF Soul, Nagro, welcome. Okay. Rutendo, also it's my first time seeing you. All right, okay, cool. TN, also welcome. It's my first time seeing you. Welcome to our class. Yeah, our class is getting bigger and bigger, guys. I'm so excited. I'm really excited, guys. I'm really excited. Okay, guys, before we start with today's lesson, I would like to check at the chat box and see whether we guys having any other questions so far. Okay, people are just greeting each other, nothing much. Okay, guys, please, listening it's a skill, right? Some of you are busy asking, you can't be asking one question every day. When are we going to do trigonometry? We are only going to do trigonometry next week, guys. I did say that last week. So please, guys, stick to that, right? Please listen, right? I know you want to do other chapters, but I mean, you must go according the way I'm going with you guys, right? That's perfect, right? I've been explaining to you that trigonometry, it will be done next week, as explained to you, right? There's nothing fussy about trigonometry. It's the same as other chapters, right? Perfect. Okay, cool. I'll need to stop to share, then reshare again. Stop sharing. Okay. Okay, share screen. I need to share the screen. Okay, cool. So yesterday, guys, we looked at this question, but we did not finish it. the question. So don't forget, this was question 5 from November 2016, guys. It was a parabola and a straight line um, graph, right? So this is the combination. So what are they going to do? They can always give you a parabola graph and a straight line graph, or they can always give you a straight line graph and a hyperbola graph, right? If we still have time, I'll still show you the hyperbola today. I mean, functions, maybe on Friday, we'll be looking at the exponential one, right? So this was the statement that was given yesterday. For those who are new, this is the question we started with yesterday. So you have dealt with a straight line graph from grade 10, right? You know the equation of a straight line graph from grade 10. It's y is equals to mx plus c. You know that equation, right? You also know the equation of a parabola, guys. It's the equation that you have dealt with from algebra, right? Your x squared plus your ax squared plus bx plus c, right? Remember when you're factorizing anything that has x squared, it's either you've got x is equals to something or x is equals to something. That's what I explained yesterday. So it says here the graph of f of x. F of x, guys, is the same as y. I just want to explain that again. The graph of f of x, this is the graph of f of x is given by f, right? They can say k of x, they can say b of x, they can say z of x. It's just the labeling of the graph, guys, in one Cartesian plane. Because remember now, you have two graphs in one Cartesian plane. What is a Cartesian plane? It's this cross your y and x cross. We call this what? A Cartesian plane, right? And g of x. So the straight line is given by g of x, meaning the labeling of the straight line is given by your g of x. And I told you from analytical geometry that whenever we have a downward sloping, which means our straight line have or has what? A negative gradient. And yes, no wonder g of x is given by what? G of x is given by negative x plus 2, which means you've got -1, that is your negative gradient, boys and girls. Don't forget that thing. These are very simple things, guys. So since we were doing analytical geometry, we did our algebra. This should be easy to you guys. That's why I chose to jump trigonometry and do this first. Then after next week, we'll do trigonometry. But this is a long chapter also. So we might even start trigonometry late this week, meaning we might start the trigonometry maybe next week, Wednesday, or next week, Thursday, depending on how far are you guys and whether are you grasping the concept or not. Now, I just want to explain again. You'll get your functions in your paper 1. Remember, in maths, you've got two papers. You've got paper 1 and paper 2, right? So you'll get functions. Functions are being tested in paper 1. So every time when I'm laying out the chapter, when I'm explaining the chapter, I always tell you that, okay, guys, you can get this chapter from paper 1 or paper 2. Remember last week when we were doing number patterns, I told you guys that you also get them in paper 1, right? The time I was busy with analytical geometry, I also told you that analytical geometry is paper 2. So every time when I'm introducing the chapter, I will tell you whether it's paper 1 or paper 2. Perfect. Then these were the graphs that are given in this Cartesian plane. F of x and g of x are sketched below. A and B are the x-intercept of F, right? So x-intercept of F. C and D are the y-intercept. So where C and D are the y-intercept of F and G respectively. K is the point on G such as BK is parallel to X-axis. But I said here there was a typo, guys. There was a typo here. It's supposed to read BK is parallel to the Y-axis, right? There's a typo, guys, here, meaning instead of X-axis, please, you can fix it to Y-axis, right? Because BK, it cannot be parallel to X-axis, but it can be parallel to the Y-axis, right? Then F and G intersect at A and E. So here's A and here's E. Intersect, it's when two graphs meet. So they meet at point A, they also meet at point E. That's perfect. Now, I'm recapping. Yesterday we finished with 5.3, right? I mean 5.4. So today I want us to finish off everything, right? But I'm recapping also 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4 also on a lighter level. Then I'll have to re-explain 5.5, right? 5.6 and 5.7, right? Okay, let me look at the question. I see people are typing. Okay, cool. All right, no questions so far. That's perfect, guys. Please listen. Uh, Feel free to ask as always, guys. I am here to help you. Please keep your questions relevant. Remember, I always tell you guys, if you've got any other admin issues, technical issues, please contact African Teen Geeks, guys, right? Me, I can only assist you with maths related questions, not any other things. If you have a problem with logging in, or because I've been receiving other emails about logging in and stuff like that, unfortunately, I cannot help you guys, So if you've got those queries or questions about logging in, the links and stuff, please contact the African Teen Gigs. Here, you can only ask maths related questions. Perfect. Now, 5.1, it was saying to you, write down the coordinates of C, right? This is the coordinates of C, right? Okay, sorry. Right. This is the coordinates of C. So they want you to write the coordinates of C. Here's C, point C. You must write its coordinate. If you look C, guys, C, it's here by this curve, guys. And C, it's when f of x touches the y-axis, guys. F of x where it touches the y-axis. Now, you must go to your f of x equation. Your f of x equation is given by x squared minus 4. So this minus 4 is always where your C is touching your y-axis. So the standard, who can tell me what is the standard formula for this graph, for a parabola graph, guys? What is the standard formula for this graph? Who can tell me, guys? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Okay, it seems like you guys are quiet today. All right, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to type it here so that everyone can see. I'm going to type it here on the chat box. So the standard formula for the parabola graph is given by ax squared, right? Ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So if you can see the equation that I have typed here, guys, right? If you can see here, the equation that I have just typed in here, it's ax squared plus bx plus c. That's the standard formula for a parabola graph, right? I'm typing again, A, right, shows what? Whether the graph has the sad face or a happy face. So A If your A is positive, which means your graph will have a happy face. If your graph, this parabola graph, is facing downwards like this, it has a sad face, therefore, which means your A is negative. And A is always hereby before X. But here we know that A is given by 1, since we already know that there's always an invisible 1 here by X squared. Now, then in this case, we don't have bx, but we've got c, and c is given by -4. And -4, we said it's when your graph touches your y-axis. So now, write c in a form of a coordinate. So basically, your coordinates of c will be what? Will be 0 is to -4. Why are we saying 0? Because, guys, where your point lies on the y-axis, which means your x-axis is always 0. Where a point always lies on your x-axis, which means your y is 0. I hope it makes sense by now. So no wonder the coordinates of C we got 0 is to -4. Okay, then 5.2, it says write down the coordinates of D. So now the coordinates of D now, guys, it's when your g of x touches the y-axis also, right? G of x touches the y-axis. And we said now, where g of x, a straight line, touches your y-axis, it's your c, your constant, of which is 2, because your g of x is a straight line equation, and the standard formula for a straight line equation is given by y is equals to mx plus c. You did it in grade 9, the equation of a straight line, right? And yes, Tino, you are right, is 0 is to 2. Why are we saying 0? Because now, this is what I've just explained now, guys. If you want the coordinates in y-axis, your x will always be 0. If you want certain coordinates in your x-axis, your y will be always 0. So here we know that, okay, if we look at the g of x, it says plus 2. And yes, here it's the positive values. It makes sense, you know. So it's going to be 0 is to 2. That's your point D. Then they said to us we must determine the length of CD. So the length of CD. So CD. Remember the length of CD. The other weights, they are looking for what? They are looking for a distance. What is the distance between C and D? You do have the coordinates of D. You do have the coordinates of C. What is the length from D to C? I say to you, this is 1 mark. You can just do it by inspection and say, okay, you've got 2, I've got 4, right? We got 6, or you can use a distance formula from your analytical geometry. Since you've got 2 points, you can just put them in the distance formula and you'll get the length of DC. I have a question here. Someone is asking me, does f of x and g of x, what does f of x and g of x mean? Carolina, f of x and g of x, it means this is just a labeling of a graph. I explained that earlier on. I said it's like labeling of a graph. It's like saying this graph is f of x, right? This graph is g of x, basically, right? It means like it's a labeling. It's like giving someone a name. If I want to give, I know myself, my name is Hector. You know, when the child is born, you must give them the name. Same applies. You are given 2 different graphs. You must give them their names. So the straight line graph is given by g of x. Your parabola graph is given by f of x, and the examiner can say anything. They can use z of x. They can use what you call. They can use y of x, v of x, p of x, anything, guys. Any labeling. It's just a labeling so that you don't get confused in an exam of saying this is the f of x, this is the g of x. I hope it makes sense. I hope I've answered your question. Right. The distance formula, guys, I'm not going to repeat it again, guys. We did it last week, guys. You know, we did, 2 weeks back when we did our analytical geometry, because someone is asking what is the distance formula? We did it when we were doing analytical geometry, guys. So please go back to your analytical geometry and revise your formulas, right? We did your midpoint formulas, our distance formulas, our gradient formulas, straight line equation formulas. So please, if you are not familiar, please go study those, guys, because we definitely did them. I remember, right? Perfect. Okay, cool. All right. Then now, this is what we were so far. I just need to project solution here. Just hang on. Okay. Just hang on. So we did 5.3, right? So 5.3, we said it's 6 units from 2 to -4, right? Perfect. Yes, that's good, Tino. The distance formula, Tino has just typed the distance formula. It's that one, guys. I said you must familiarize yourself with the formulas. Unfortunately, guys, it comes with doing lots and lots of questions, right? Okay. Yes, the distance formula is the length formula, basically, guys. Distance and length is the same thing, guys, right? Because someone is asking that, isn't it that the length formula? Yes, distance and the length formula is the same thing, guys. When you talk about the length, you talk about the distance, right? Remember when we were doing analytical geometry, I explained to you that a distance, it means that it's a length. So the examiner can say length or distance, right? They can use any words, right? All right. Then 5.4 now, it says to you, calculate the coordinates of B. So these are the coordinates of B. Here point B is, right? You must calculate what? Its coordinates. Remember now, your coordinates of B, it's where your parabola or your f of x touches your x-axis, but it touches your x-axis in both sides, in your left-hand side and in your right-hand side. Does it make sense? So now, and we know that on this side, it's where we have negatives. On this side is where we have positive, guys, positive values, right? Okay, I see the other comment, right? So the coordinates of B, it's -2:0, not -2. They did not say give point B. What is point B? They said coordinates of B, meaning now it needs to be in a form of a coordinate. If you just wrote -2, you are wrong. But your answer, it should be -2 is to 0. Let me explain it again. I did explain it yesterday, but because of time, I'm sure some of you did not get it. That's why I'm trying to recap so that it can make sense to you, everything. So basically here, guys, what we did, f of x is given by x squared minus 4 is equals to 0, right? This, we said it's a difference of two squares, right? right? So x minus 2 and x plus 2 is equals to 0. Basically, you're solving for x because b is lying on your x-axis, guys, right? Your point B is lying on your x-axis, right? So now, then when you transpose 2, -2 to the other side, it will be x is equals to 2. And when you transpose plus 2 to the other side, x will be equals to -2. Therefore, the coordinates of B will be -2 is to 0, which means 2 is to 0 will be the coordinates of A, if I make sense, guys, right? Because now this side of the Cartesian plane, your x-axis are negative. That's this side of a Cartesian plane, your x-axis are positive. So it makes sense for us to have b -2 is to 0. Now, let's start with today's work. 5.5. It says to you, 5.5, determine the coordinates of E, a point of intersection of F and G, right? So now we need to determine the coordinates of E. Here's point E. E is when g of x and f of x meet. So they want the coordinates. They want the coordinates of E. Who can tell me, or who wants to try and say, what is the way forward? Yes, Aaron got -3 is to 5. Aaron, do you want to tell us how you got it? Can I unmute you so that you can explain to us how you got it? Aaron, I can see. Okay, let me unmute you. He just said yes. Let me go to my participants and unmute Aaron so that he can tell us how he got it. Hello, Aaron.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Perfect, perfect.
So, sir,
So,
how I got E equals
okay,
to.
Aaron, just hold on. Can everyone just listen, guys? Just listen. You might pick up something. Let's listen to Aaron, all of us. Okay, yes, Aaron. Sorry to disturb you.
Sir, I said x squared minus 4 equals to -x plus 2.
Okay,
Then
negative
after,
x plus 2. Very good, right? So
then after,
basically, okay, yeah. So basically, what did you do basically? Why do you equate them?
because I think x squared, there was this f, because they are, they are intersecting. So x squared minus 4 does equals to -x plus 2.
Okay, so very good, Aaron. I like your approach. You know why? Because now you are sort of like understanding and saying, okay, g of x and f of x, they intersect where? At point E. Very good, isn't it? At point E and point A. Does it make sense? So it's very important for us to equate them because that's where they meet. Intersection, guys, it says where we are meeting, basically where we are meeting, which means it's the same place. If I'm saying all of us, we are meeting at a rugby field, right? Which means we are meeting at the same place. So it makes sense for us to saying g of x and f of x, let's equate them together because that's where they are meeting. Yes, Aaron?
And then, sir, I said x, then I took the 2 to the other side. Then I added the
Yes,
light
you
term.
took
Then
two
I to the other side. Then I added the light terms. My equation. Then my sum became x squared plus x minus 6. Then you
yes.
factorize. Then you do the
Remember,
solve for
okay.
x.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect, Aaron. Remember, you took what? You took x to the other side, isn't it? Right? You
Yes.
took, remember on your left-hand side, you had x squared. Let me also type it here on the chat box so that everyone can see. So what we did, I'm typing it, guys. So it's x, what Aaron did said, x squared. So x squared minus 4, isn't it, is equals to negative x, isn't it, plus 2,
Yes.
right? That's what Aaron did. That is the step 1, right? Step 2, then Aaron what? Equated everything to 0. So he transposed everything to the left-hand side, isn't it? So you're going to
Yes.
have your x squared, x squared. I'm busy typing here so that everyone can see x squared. Therefore, when x comes to the other side, it will be a plus x, isn't it? Then your negative 4 and negative 2, it's actually negative 6, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? You'll get negative 6 is equals to 0. Does it make sense, boys and girls? That was the step 2. I hope everyone is following from the chat box, right? Then what was the step 3, Aaron?
So
You
I think,
factorized,
yes, factorize.
right?
Then
What, yeah, which factors did you get?
it was 3 plus 3 and negative 2.
So you got, no, factorize, you got plus 3, very good,
It
plus,
was bracket x minus 2.
yeah,
It was bracket
and
x minus 2, then bracket x plus 3.
very good, right? Very
Yes.
good, right? Is equals to 0, isn't it?
Yes.
Is
Yes.
equals to 0. I hope everyone is following, guys. That was step 3, isn't it? And what was your step 4, Aaron?
So it was I had
X is
to
equals to negative 3
two.
or x is equals to 2, isn't it? That was your
Yes.
step 4. So
Yes.
x is equals to negative
Negative
3
3.
or
Then
x
equals to negative 2.
x is
Positive
equals
2.
to 2, yes,
Yes.
or x is equals to positive 2,
2.
right? But now, what was the catch? Which means the point A, it's 2, and we already got the point A, right?
Yes.
Where they said we must calculate the coordinates of B,
Yes.
which means now point E, it's what is negative 3. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Now, what did you do?
Then
You choose,
I
right?
think yes.
Which equation did you choose? Because now you must find the y, the y axis, because they said the coordinates of E. So you got the x point, of which is negative 3, right? But now, how did you
Yes.
get your y point? Your y point, this one, your y point, this one. Because you got this one is negative 3. Therefore, how are you going to, excuse me, how are you going to get your y point?
So I what's this? I said I used the G
Okay,
X. What's
g of
this?
x.
The X.
Yes,
Then I said negative. Since I got X, which is negative 3, then I
yes,
said negative
yes.
bracket negative 3, close bracket plus 2, it gave me 5.
Very good. Very good. Wow. Wow, guys. Pity enough, I'm not seeing you. I was going to give you a chocolate or something, right? Because g of x is the same as y is equals to negative x plus 2. So now we're looking for point y. So g of x is the same as y. So we're going to say y is equals to, where there is x, we put what? Where there is
Negative
x,
3.
we put what? We put negative 3,
Yes.
right? Plus 2, isn't it?
Yes.
That's your fifth step, right? And what was your last step? Is to get your y.
Yes.
And what was the value of y? Negative 3, open bracket, negative 3 plus 2 is how much?
It's 5. So. No,
Is
sir. My final answer was 5.
is 5, right? Is 5. Very good. So y is equals to 5. Therefore, what is the coordinates of E? What are the coordinates of E? -3, of which is your x, right?
It's
Is 2,
yes,
5, isn't it?
5.
Very good, Aaron.
Yes.
Wow. Here's your workings, guys. Are you following, boys and girls? That's how we got point E. Now, so I know some of you are asking why we chose g of x. You can even choose f of x, guys. Let's do it with f of x. You will still get the same answer because f of x, I mean, yeah, also f of x, that's where E intersect. Well done, Aaron. Let's try it with f of x to get y, right? We can say y, right, is equals to, where there is x, we must put what? -3. Let's put -3, isn't it? To the power 2, isn't it? Now we're using f of x and see whether are we going to get 5 or not, right? You'll see, guys, you're going to get 5, right? -4, right?
Yes.
Then what is the value of y? I just want to show you that even if you used the f of x equation, you're still going to get 5. What is the value of y when you say -3 squared minus 4? It's 5. Can you see, guys?
No,
Are you
sir,
having your calculator?
if you say,
It's 5.
sir, if you say -3, it don't give you 5. It's supposed to be +3.
No. -3 squared minus 4 is 5.
It's -13, sir.
Sorry?
It's -13.
No. Where are you getting 13? -3.
So you say -3
-3
squared.
squared minus 4, yes, is 5. The answer should be 5. Do it in your calculator. Open bracket, -3, close bracket, squared minus 4. You'll get 5.
Oh, yes, I didn't use the brackets. Yes.
Yes. Does it make sense now? Right. So, guys, you have a choice whether in order to find y, whether do you want to use g of x or f of x. Both of these, they'll give you the same answer. Why? Because g of x and f of x, that's where E intersect. Does it make sense, boys and girls? So it will be 5. Well done, Aaron. I'm happy. I'm happy that you got this one right. Well done. I'm so impressed, my boy, right? Keep up the good work, right?
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. All right, guys. Thanks to Aaron. Let's continue. Then now you got your coordinates of E. That was easy and simple. This is the same as analytical geometry, guys, right? This is the same as analytical geometry, guys. Okay. Okay, cool. Now we did 5.5 and it was for 4 marks, guys. Now 5.6, very easy also. It says, for which values of x will f of x be less than g of x? What is this? Who can tell me? What is this, guys? Who can tell me 5.6.1 and 5.6.2? Who can tell me, guys? We did this in algebra. Who can tell me? What does it mean? Going once? Going twice? Going thrice? Who can tell me? F of x is greater than, it's less than g of x. What does it mean, guys? What is this? Where we see greater than, less than or greater than or okay, Kamkhelo, you are 5 to right. It's yes, very good on Tatile, very good, Tino. These are the inequalities equation, right? Basically, they are saying take the equation of f of x, it must be less than 2, the equation of the g of x, then solve for x. Then 5.6.2 when you say f of x times, here there's a dot. 5.6.2, there's a dot. It's g of x is greater than or equals to 0. Then solve for x. Okay, guys, because now it's already 22 and I've got another class exactly at 4 o'clock. I've got grade 12s immediately at 4 o'clock. So please, 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 tomorrow before we start a new question, we'll start from 5. So this is your homework, but we'll mark it your 5.6 and 5.7, right? 5.6 and 5.7. The first 10 minutes we'll be looking at these tomorrow, right? So please, please, please do these. Try to do these, guys. We'll do this what you call when tomorrow. It's just that now this week I'm also teaching grade 12s and I'm starting immediately at 4. So I need to prepare also and log in, for them also, right? So this is the, okay, someone is asking me to go up. They want the equations. You let me know if you've taken everything. I'm already up. So here's f of x, here's g of x, right? Take the equations down or screenshot or take a picture, whatever, guys. I'm only giving you a minute to do that. If you want me to go down again, let me know. You can just take a picture, or if you are using your cell phone, just take a screenshot, guys, right? Okay. I'm going down again. I'm going down. For those who haven't seen the questions, here's the question. So you can take a picture, or if you are looking from your desktop, you can take a picture. If you are using your cell phone, you can just take a screenshot and try 5.5 and 5.6. The first 10 minutes tomorrow, we are doing these ones. You guys are so awesome. Thank you. Until we meet again tomorrow. Bye.